I was just in their shoes. I was that young girl that dreamed of being on this stage and, you know, being able to be a role model. I feel like a normal person.
We ran that play a million times, and it just made me laugh because, like, she's so fast that she gets open every single time.
65 points. One game, two players. Clark and Kelsey Mitchell just showed the WNBA what they're made of. But you know what's even crazier? The Indiana Fever barely won by 1 point. How is that even possible? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Imagine scoring 65 points in a game and winning by just one. That's exactly what happened when Clark and Mitchell went off against the Dallas Wings. It's like they were playing NBA Jam out there, but the scoreboard was still super close. This was the third time the Fever and Wings faced off this season. Both teams have been lighting up the scoreboard lately, but this game, it was on another level. You'd think with 65 points combined, the Fever would have crushed the Wings. But here's where it gets wild. The Fever scored 110 points, 110, and they still only won by 1 point. How does that even work? What was going on with their defense? And what does this mean for their playoff chances? Let's break down this insane game and see what it tells us about the Fever's future.
Different from being a pro. Obviously, I haven't lived that, but you just kind of know that from watching the WNBA. I'm a big fan.
So people like to say I'm the face of college basketball, women's college basketball.
Now, you might think scoring 110 points would guarantee a blowout win. Not with Clark on the court. She didn't just show up. She rewrote the rookie record books. What if I told you her 35-point game was just the tip of the iceberg? Let's talk about Clark's performance. She dropped 35 points, dished out 8 assists, and snagged 3 steals. That's not just good, that's video game numbers. And get this, she was perfect from the free throw line, going 9 for 9. Talk about clutch. But Clark wasn't just chucking up shots. She was efficient, shooting 10 of 22 from the field and 6 of 14 from downtown. That's the kind of shooting that makes coaches smile and defenders cry. You know how some rookies come into the league and take a while to find their footing? Clark's out here playing like she's been in the WNBA for years. The way she controls the game makes crucial plays under pressure. That's not rookie stuff. That's veteran leadership right there. And here's where it gets wild. Clark's 35 points didn't just set a new career high for her. It set the record for the most points scored by a rookie in a single game this season. But wait, there's more. Her total points for the season? 761. That's a new rookie points record in the WNBA. She's not just breaking records, she's shattering them. But Clark's not just about scoring, she's leading the league in assists too, with 329 total. That's right, she's topping the charts in both scoring and playmaking.
If I can continue to move the game forward, not only basketball, but women's sports in general.
I think we just really read and understand each other a lot better from where we were.
It's like she looked at the rookie learning curve and said, "Nah, I'm good." Watching Clark play, you'd think she's been doing this for a decade. The commentators are saying it too. Her game management, her decision-making, it's all top tier. She's not playing like a rookie. She's playing like a seasoned all-star. While everyone's eyes were on Clark, another Fever player was quietly putting together a game for the ages. How does 30 points and 50% shooting from beyond the arc sound? That's Kelsey Mitchell's stat line, and it's just the beginning. You thought Clark's performance was impressive? Mitchell decided to show everyone why she's a veteran in this league. She dropped 30 points like it was nothing, shooting 12 of 21 from the field. That's not just good. That's elite-level efficiency.
New York and teams like that, so we've already experienced what it felt like to lose and have to battle and know withstand.
Not just because we make eye contact and she knows to go back doors.
But here's where Mitchell really shined. Her three-point shooting was out of this world. She went 6 for 12 from downtown. That's right, 50% from beyond the arc. It's like she had a cheat code for long-range shots. Now, imagine trying to defend against this duo. You've got Clark running the show, breaking ankles and dishing out assists. And just when you think you've got her contained, Mitchell's out there draining threes like it's a practice session. It's a nightmare for any defense. What's crazy is how well these two play together. You'd think they've been teammates for years, not just a few months. The way they find each other on the court, The way they create space for each other, it's like watching a basketball ballet. Mitchell's experience in the league is the perfect complement to Clark's rookie energy. When Clark's feeling the pressure, Mitchell's there to steady the ship. And when Mitchell needs a breather, Clark's ready to take over. It's a 1-2 punch that's proving hard to counter. But it's not just about the points. Mitchell's been in the league long enough to know when to make the crucial plays. She delivered key baskets when the Fever needed them most, showing why she's such a valuable player. You know what's really exciting? This is just the beginning. Clark and Mitchell are still figuring each other out, still learning each other's tendencies. And they're already putting up these kinds of numbers? The rest of the WNBA better watch out. The Fever's offense was on fire, but their defense? It was like trying to stop a flood with a coffee filter. How bad was it? Picture this. An entire quarter without a single defensive rebound. Yeah, it got that wild. You'd think scoring 110 points would guarantee a blowout win, right? Not for the Indiana Fever. They put on an offensive clinic, shooting lights out with a 50% field goal percentage, 47.1% from three-point land, and a stellar 85.7% from the free throw line. That's the kind of shooting that makes highlight reels and breaks scoreboards.
And me going into this year is I just don't want to live with any regret of, I don't know if I'm going to stay, I don't know if I'm going to go.
Inside of us to, be motivated the next year. We knew it was our last year of having all 5 starters together.
But here's where things get crazy. Despite all that offensive firepower, the Fever only squeaked by with a 1-point victory. How is that even possible? Well, it turns out their defense was about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. Get this. The Fever didn't grab a single defensive rebound in the entire first quarter. Not one. It's like they forgot that basketball is played on both ends of the court. The Dallas Wings took full advantage, shooting a blistering 57% overall and 46% from downtown. They were picking apart the Fever's defense like it was made of tissue paper. And it wasn't just the shooting. The Wings crashed the boards hard, snagging 11 offensive rebounds. That's 11 extra chances to score. And in a game this close, every possession counted. Now, you might be wondering, where was Aliyah Boston in all this? Good question. The usually dominant Boston had a quiet night, putting up just 15 points and grabbing only 2 defensive rebounds. It was like watching Superman without his cape. One commentator summed it up perfectly, saying, "It looked a lot more like an NBA All-Star game than the next to last regular season game in the WNBA." And they weren't wrong. Both teams were putting on an offensive show, but defense? That was optional. So what does all this mean for the Fever? Well, it's a classic good news, bad news situation. The good news is they've got an offense that can hang with anyone in the league. Clark and Mitchell are a dynamic duo that can light up the scoreboard at will. But the bad news? Their defense is softer than a marshmallow in a microwave. And in the playoffs, where every possession matters, that could be a serious problem.
So I think the biggest thing is I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm just going to enjoy every single experience that I have.
I would say it's definitely up there with one of the most physical games I've played so far, but that's like, you're going to get that.
All right, so the Fever are in the playoffs. They snagged that 6th spot, but now what? Can they keep this fire burning, or will they fizzle out? Here's the thing. Coach Sides has a big decision to make. Do they go all out in their last regular season game, or take it easy? It's like choosing between keeping your momentum or getting some rest. Tough call, right? But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Clark and Mitchell are scoring machines, no doubt. But can they make up for that leaky defense when they face tougher teams? It's like they've got a Ferrari engine but forgot to install the brakes. So here's the million-dollar question. Will Clark and Mitchell's offensive fireworks be enough to overcome their defensive issues in the playoffs? Or will other teams find a way to exploit their weaknesses?